As we have over a month until any F1 on-track action happens, I thought it'd be a good idea to cast our minds to this season and the inter-team battles that are going to be happening, as well as throwing maybe a prediction or two into the pot as well to take a look back on during the season. Let's start with reigning champions, Mercedes.
It's Bottas' third season at Mercedes, but with only 3 wins compared to Hamilton's 73 and 2,000 less career points, is he able to take it to Lewis?
It's quite simply make or break for Valtteri Bottas this season. He has to start outperforming Hamilton, otherwise he's gone. Why would Mercedes sit around being like, Bottas, you can just drive for us for as long as you want, when they've got talent like Ocon and Russell sitting in the wings? My prediction is this: Valtteri will get royally ruined in 2019 by Hamilton, and Ocon will be announced by around the Italian Grand Prix as Valtteri's replacement for 2020.
With only 21 races under his belt, Leclerc gets the jump to Ferrari against the 219 race start veteran Mr. Vettel. Will Leclerc be Vettel's kryptonite, just like Ricciardo was?
Ferrari is a little bit difficult to judge, albeit my inner Charles Leclerc fanboy wanting to run to the top of a hill and shout, Charles Leclerc will be world champion. Sorry, continuing. I think it'll be a little bit more difficult than that. Performing in an underdog car is one thing, but then dealing with the expectation of people watching you in a Ferrari and expecting you to win, well, that's something that Charles Leclerc is going to have to get used to in 2019. And then we throw in some politics as well from Ferrari. Will he even be allowed to win races? We'll have to find out. I predict that Seb will have the upper hand for the first few races, but then Sharllll will come on strong just like he did in 2018 and will challenge Lewis Hamilton for the title. Yep. Hey, if I get it wrong, I will deactivate all of my social... No, I won't deactivate it, but I will ignore a lot of you who are abusing me. I can see you writing your comment right now. Charles Leclerc fanboy. We'll see in 2019.
The Red Bull drivers have only 107 race starts between them, and Gasly only has a handful of career points. Will Red Bull give Pierre wings?
Red Bull is a little bit of a step into the unknown. We don't know how they're going to perform with the Honda engine package or how Verstappen and Gasly are going to get along. Gasly wasn't too happy playing the team orders role at Toro Rosso, and how will he deal with the multi-21 message 5 laps from the end of a Grand Prix? I personally don't see Pierre being a match for Max and think he will struggle to keep up with the Dutchman.
A much more even pairing at Renault in terms of races, but Nico, on paper, has never had as difficult a teammate. Can he overcome his biggest challenge yet?
I cannot wait to see how the fight at Renault pans out. Nico versus Daniel. Nico's been labelled as one of the most underrated drivers on the grid, but then at the same time has never had a podium, which begs the question, is he really that good? Well, he'll have nowhere to hide against Daniel Ricciardo in 2019. That smile is coming for you. Nico had the upper hand against Carlos Sainz last season, and I don't think he'll be as easy a teammate to beat as some people think. I'm just hoping that Daniel Ricciardo gets the break he deserves and doesn't have 8 retirements in a season again. I predict that Danny will just narrowly beat Nico across the season. Do you agree? Let us know.
Both drivers have stood on the podium before, and amazingly enough, Sergio has acquired more career points than best of the rest champion for 2018, Hülkenberg. Will there be any more silverware in 2019?
Now onto whatever the pink cars will be called next season, with Lawrence Stroll buying the team and giving Lance a chance, in a reasonably competitive car. It's up to him to prove himself now. He was pretty quick in lower formulas, winning the Italian F4 Championship and also winning the F3 European Championship. He has potential, not just money, but he's going up against one of the most highly rated drivers on the grid, Sergio Perez. I predict that Sergio will come out on top against Lance, but Lance will have a few surprise performances. Daddy can buy him a car, but he can't make him go quick round a circuit.
Kvyat has been given a rollercoaster ride at Red Bull, but he'll be the most experienced driver at Toro Rosso this year alongside new boy Albon.
Does anyone else keep forgetting that Danny Kvyat is coming back to Formula 1 with Toro Rosso next season, or is it just me? With Alexander Albon as well, feeling like he hasn't had much of an introduction going into this next season. Toro Rosso is very much an unknown in 2019. Although Alexander Albon is very highly rated by both Charles Leclerc and George Russell, I still feel like he has this underdog vibe. Because Because I love an underdog, I feel that Alex Albon will outperform Danny Kvyat throughout the season, and Danny Kvyat will get demoted and Max Verstappen will win the following race in the middle of the season. You heard it here first.
Just a mere 290 races, 21 wins, 103 podiums, 1,816 points and 1 championship separating Raikkonen and Giovinazzi. But you'll be fine, won't you, Antonio?
Now I feel Sauber will be a team full of smiles in 2019. Firstly, you have Kimi, who seems like a man reborn after leaving Ferrari, and I think he'll enjoy the challenge of trying to bring Sauber further up the grid in 2019. And then you have Antonio Giovinazzi. It is a perfect spot for a rookie, up against Kimi, who is beatable, but also challenging, but not too challenging that he'll ruin Giovinazzi's career in an Alonso Van Dorn style. I predict that with Kimi's new lease of life, he will have the upper hand over Giovinazzi for most of the season, but I think Antonio will keep his seat for 2020.
Carlos Sainz is in his third F1 team in as many years as he takes on F1 rookie Lando Norris. No wins or podiums for the Woking-based team. Will McLaren take a step forward with this new lineup?
Next we have McLaren, and there's been some serious hype for the marshmallow-eating legend that is Lando Norris, up against the experienced fast racer of Carlos Sainz. If the hype is to match up, then Lando Norris should have the upper hand over Carlos for most of the season. But then if you take a look at the McLaren Young Driver programme in recent times, it hasn't worked out for Magnussen or Van Dorn. Third time lucky? I predict Lando Norris will take a few races to settle in, and then similarly to Leclerc in 2018, have the upper hand over his teammate.
Kubica's points are a little unfair as they were collected before the new point system, but it's still more than Russell's big fat rookie zero. Will we see the Robert Kubica of old?
Despite Williams' lacklustre performances of late, they have a rather exciting lineup going into 2019. Firstly, you have the F2 champion and highly rated driver George Russell going up against one of sport's greatest comeback stories ever. And I'm so happy to see him back in the sport, Robert Kubica. For my prediction, I would love to say that Robert will be back to his very best and putting in some stunning drives, but I just can't see it. I think over a grueling season, George will have the upper hand and Robert will struggle.
It's a good job we don't count silly mistakes, or Grosjean will be racking up quite a few. But he still has 10 podiums to Kevin's 1. Clearly, out of all these statistics, the race is to 2 fastest laps, surely.
Last but by no means least, we have Haas, and the curious case of Romain Grosjean. Kevin has been much more consistent, don't get me wrong, but Romain does have the outright pace. He just has to avoid being hit by Ericsson and letting off a smoke grenade at turn 3 in Spain. If Romain can go a whole season without looking like a rookie, he'll trounce Magnussen in 2019, and I think he'll need to if he wants to keep his seat. What are your predictions for the 2019 season? Which ones do you agree with? Which ones do you disagree with? Which ones am I going to get social media hate for? Let us know in the comment section below. I'm Matt with WTF1, and we'll see you next time.